Say the Parliament House abeye classroom ye chira kwen fa so ye afuo ne nkokọ nketenkete abusua say the aye say pinso aye dindindin say ye nim say nkokọ nketenkete no ye be fa teacher ni bi ama na chira omo parliament no mahu so mfa so de ntia John Dramani Mahama the president wo ye campaign wo kaka ho na aso ye ntimi chire aha ayalan media Ghana oba so anu a share video ama foforo enya bi ahwe no ja comment no like so ede akahu abusuye nyanim say A+ afei enwa status work parliament na abusuya sesia me no ka say de wakwa akoma eye minority leader Alexander Afenyo Markin wa mani showdown kra enya asem keto ede na beba eye A+ ebe mani showdown ni nyina ne say wa kasa fa eye ekwan a anenam so ade enti a John Dramani Mahama ka say nko ketenkete no ebebe ho ena A+ ibebo nchire mu a wo kire say hey shh parliament munye di Muma men chire mu osibe wo be chire mu agrek se de esi ye afu abuzua ya asem o se de esi ye afu na parliament house ho na akwa chire se de esi ye afu ebe A+ afi na ja wo kwa parliament ja afi no wo sua se de esi kasa e wo parliament house enye nim se wo tena bonte na wo kasa ye different from say do be ko dwabo biasa na akwa gina ni padodo anim ana ba bia wo nyina hoda se wo be start se wo kasa na ja ahopopo ne no ma bi no etimi koso ewo ho nti we ni first time aye A+ kwami A+ wono so ama eye Afenyo Markin eye showdown a chese enya asem gitu akabuzia enzem ni emu osre na ye say no enkokwa getenkete ni yempe NDC for say omode ba ma ye yenko A+ say do sikasa
It was on the day of the sooner that I even realized that 24 hours and NKOK. You can't hear, please pay attention. I'm teaching you a Greek. I'm going to teach you a Greek, and I will beg you to please listen carefully. It was on that day that the president told us that 55,000 homes were going to benefit from NKETE-NKETE. Mr. Speaker, Ghana imports about $300 million of poultry every year. Our national demand is about 400,000 metric tons every year. In fact, we produce only about 57,000 tons a year. Importation is about 270,000 metric tons a year. And the president, in his wisdom, has noticed that if 100 districts put together 500 beds for 5,000 homes, we will be making about 55,000 homes, raising 500 beds, a total of about 27,000 beds per cycle. I've heard a lot of my colleagues say that the president came to lament, and I think that even if the president came to lament, he only came to continue the lamentation of the previous government, where we had their own MPs in this chamber organizing a press conference to call on the president to sack their finance minister because of the state of the nation that they were in and what they envisaged. It was not just the members of parliament who were lamenting. The people of Ghana, in their lamentation, gave them the worst result in any election in the history of the Fourth Republic. And so the president could only join in what everybody was saying. During the president's address, there were two takeaways that I would focus on, and that's the 24-hour economy and NKETE-NKETE. Mr. Speaker, I've heard a lot of my colleagues say that how are we going to create jobs through 24 hours and NKETE-NKETE. In fact, it was on the day of the sooner that I even realized that 24 hours and NKETE-NKETE. You can't hear, please pay attention. I'm teaching you a Greek. I'm going to teach you a Greek, and I will beg you to please listen carefully. It was on that day that the president told us that 55,000 homes were going to benefit from NKOK. Mr. Speaker, Ghana imports about $300 million of poultry every year. Our national demand is about 400,000 metric tons every year. In fact, we produce only about 57,000 tons a year. Importation is about 270,000 metric tons a year. And the president, in his wisdom, has noticed that if 100 districts put together 500 beds for 5,000 homes, we will be making about 55,000 homes, raising 500 beds, a total of about 27,000 beds per cycle. And when I say cycle, I mean when you are raising broilers, from day old, that's what we call DOCs, to week 7, you complete one cycle. And so the president came and told us that in a cycle, 55,000 homes can raise 500 beds each. Mr. Speaker, this will help reduce dependency on importation. It will strengthen our food security. It will create opportunities. It will create jobs. And it will help the youth enter into agriculture. Mr. Speaker, how will this work? And how are we going to make money from NKETE-NKETE? How will this work, and how are we going to make money from NKETE-NKETE? It costs about 71 cedis to raise a bed from day 1 to 3 kilos. To raise a bed to 3 kilos, you need to give it about 4.5 kilos of feed. Every 1 kilo of feed it eats again, 1.5 kilo of feed it eats against about 1 kilo weight. And therefore, before it gets to 3 kilos, you have to feed it with about 4.5 kilos of feed. This means that we have to produce a lot of maize to feed these birds, because in every kilo of feed that you feed a bird, about 60% is made up of maize, which is up to about 2.7 kilos of every 4.5 kilos of feed that you give to one bird. And so our poultry farmers, our maize farmers, this is good news that the president has given to us. According to the president, we are going to grow a lot of maize to feed a lot of birds. Mr. Speaker, apart from maize that we are going to grow to feed birds, we are also going to make a lot of manure. Ghana imports so much fertilizer. In 2023 alone, we imported over $200 million worth of fertilizer. And therefore, under the NKETE-NKETE program, we are going to get a lot of manure. In fact, every bed, and these ones are fact, every bed that you raise at 3 kilos produces about between 2 to 4 kilos of droppings in a lifetime. And this is what we call fresh manure. And when I say fresh manure, I'm talking about 70% water and 75% water, 25% dry manure. And so, under this program, in NKETE-NKETE, we are going to be able to produce manure here in Ghana, locally. If you, Mr. Speaker, I can go on and give you how much residue you make per acre when you grow maize and mix it with the chicken intestines and all to give you a certain tonnage of fertilizer every year. And this is what the president is telling us that we are going to do. Apart from that, The president is looking at putting money directly in the pockets of every household through this program. When you raise a bird, we sell it at what is called carcass weight. Carcass weight is 2.5 kilos per broiler. The weight is 3 kilos, but when you remove the feathers and the intestine and all of that, it will be left with what we call carcass weight. At a carcass weight of about 3 kilos, you can sell it for 90 Ghana cedis. When you subtract the 71 cedis needed to raise the bird, it will be left with about 19 Ghana cedis. Multiply by 500 birds every year. Every household under this program will be making about 9,500 every 7 to 8 weeks. This is putting direct money in the pockets of the people who voted this government to power. Apart from that, to be able to feed, apart from that, if every household employs 2 people to take care of 500 birds per cycle, what it means is that directly we are employing 110,000 people in 100 districts under this program. This does not include the retailers, the wholesalers, and many others. In fact, Mr. Speaker,
Honorable member, just wind up.
Mr. Speaker, chicken feet, akoko nine, chicken feet is a huge delicacy in China. Akoko nine. In 2023 alone, China imported over $5 billion worth of chicken feet. And so no part of the chicken goes waste. And this is what was known as the cottage industry. Giving households beds, giving them medication, giving them feed, letting them raise the bird and buy them back from the farmers for slaughter. Mr. Speaker, we will need feed mills. We will need processing plants. We will need fertilizer processing plants. And all of these will go a long way to employ a lot of young people.
Thank you.
NKETE-NKETE, the 24-hour national broiler project is a brilliant idea by His Excellency, the President of the...
showdown. Said the Canadian Japan because ye show master Afenyo Markin when who could tea or Parliament House one Kevin Taylor and a kaye and be before himself and for Jimmy Sabi and into the Afenyo Markin didn't babetine a year no minority leader and I saw more than a year Kuanimu penny and KWAME A+ for money showdown. They say NDC for a year Afenyo Markin so won't me mam showdown be when ya munipa ba is on so aba or bet say yes or honor name or abantino now or ni de na or abantino na onyene sakwa Parliament House won so obeti mi di bi aba honor say Afenyo Markin nanim agu ase we see the trust I want me page the tikra our Parliament House be ni na e show down KWAME A+ or the MMA no efa ekokon ketenkete ensem na abuja mesra so be share video yi ama foforo enya bi ahwe no like ojo decent comment so ho e de ama mo review so be subscribe what a notification bell or ya upload video when ya bi ahwe me am de be som mo me din de achre broni me da ase.